Hello students, myself Ishita Patel. I'll be teaching you SS Chapter 2 What is Around Us. Before that, I welcome you all to the online teaching session. I'm sure you're very excited for this session of SS Chapter 2 What is Around Us. Now before I start with this session, I will just give you a briefing about what I'll be doing in the first session. Firstly, I will introduce you to the topic what is around us. Here we'll be studying about the four main spheres of the earth. But before I start with the main topics, it's very important for us to first understand the background of our planet Earth. So I'll take you to the basic information about our planet Earth. Once we are through with this basic information, then I'll take you towards the formation of the earth. In formation of the earth, I have selected one theory which I'll be discussing with you. With that, you will be mentally prepared for the next topic, and that is the internal structure of the earth. And I'm sure with internal structure of the earth, you will learn again four main spheres which are lying beneath the earth's surface. That is about internal structure, and then we'll be moving towards the main topic, that is four main spheres of the earth. In the four main spheres of the earth, only the first sphere, that is lithosphere, I'll be discussing with you in the first session, and in the coming sessions we'll be dealing with the other spheres. Since our entire chapter revolves around the earth, it's very important for me to first brief you about our planet Earth. Earth is the third planet from the Sun and the only astronomical object known to harbor life. It is also believed that the distance that the Earth covers from the Sun is 150 million kilometers. This distance, called an astronomical unit, is a standard unit of measurement in astronomy. Earth is one astronomical unit from the Sun. According to radiometric dating and based on various theories, Earth formed over 4.5 billion years ago. Now it is very important for us to understand firstly as to what do we mean by radiometric dating. It is a technique which is used to date materials such as rocks or carbon. It can also date a wide range of natural and man-made materials. Earth orbits the Sun once every 365.25 days. Since a calendar years have only 365 days, we add an extra leap day every 4 years to account the difference. Earth is the fifth largest planet in the solar system in terms of size and mass. There are actually many theories that are actually given for the formation of Earth, but I'll be discussing with you the theory which is more or less similar to your textbook, so that you can understand more easily and you can make the most out of it. So I've just selected the easy one, and this theory, I'm sure if you listen very carefully, you will understand it clearly as the how the earth was formed. About 100 billion years ago, the earth, the sun and all the planets of the solar system were nothing but a cloud of cold dust particles swirling through empty space. Gradually, these particles were attracted to each other and came together to form a huge spinning disk. As it spun, the disk separated into rings, and the motion made the particles white hot. The center of the disk became the sun, and the particles in the outer rings turned into large balls of gas and molten liquid that cooled and condensed to take on solid form. 4 to 5 billion years ago, they turned into the planets that we know today as Earth, Mars, Venus, and the outer planets. Now, in this theory, there are certain things which are very easy to understand. For example, if you see in the space, initially there was nothing, and there was only the dust particles which was constantly spinning around. Now, through the spinning, the disk formation was seen, and out of this disk formation, again later stages after a lot of activity, the disk got separated into rings, which led to the formation of particles which were white hot, and the disk ultimately got converted to sun, and the particles in the outer rings became large balls of gas and molten liquid that cooled and condensed to solid form. Now, to understand this theory in more simple terms, it's very simply understood that the earth, which was the formation from the sun, so it got detached from the sun, the fireball, and it took lots of years for the earth to cool down. Now, in this entire transformation, when the earth was cooling down, after certain stages of years, the earth got divided into four spheres. One, the land form, the solid form, the earth, when it got cooled down, it became, some part of it became solid, and that portion is known as lithosphere, or a solid. Secondly, the some portion of the earth remained with water, so that is called hydrosphere, and some places were filled with gaseous element, so that's why it was called as atmosphere. And the three spheres together, where life became possible, is known as biosphere. So the entire earth is divided into four major spheres, and it is because of the transformation that got undertaken by the earth, and because of this the four main spheres got emerged, and this is how the earth was formed. In order to understand lithosphere, it is very important for us to first understand the interior part of the earth. Now, the interior part of the earth is again divided into four: crust, mantle, outer core, and inner core. So first we'll begin with crust. The thickness of the crust is approximately 5 to 70 kilometers. It comprises of solid rocks and makes up 1% of the earth. It also comprises of broken pieces called plates beneath the crust. Apart from that, we also have the second layer called mantle. It is the part of the earth between the core and the crust is the mantle. It is about 1800 miles thick and makes up nearly 80% of the earth's total volume. The mantle is made up of magma and rocks. It has more magnesium and less aluminum and silicon than the crust. We have next layer called outer core. The outer core extends to a depth of around 3000 miles beneath the surface. It is believed to be made up of superheated liquid called molten lava. This lava is believed to be mostly iron and nickel. And the last layer of the earth is inner core. Inner core is the very center part of the earth and the hottest part of the planet. It is mainly a solid ball with a radius of about 1220 kilometers. It is believed to consist mostly of an iron nickel alloy and to be about the same temperature as the surface of the sun. So these are the four major layers in the interior part of the earth, which is very much necessary for us to understand in order to understand the next main topic of the chapter called lithosphere. Now moving towards the main part of the chapter, that is lithosphere, the first sphere of the earth. The sphere on which we actually live is known as lithosphere. Litho means rock and sphere means layer. The upper layer of the earth is made up of soil and solid materials like rocks. Approximately 29% of the surface of the earth is covered with lithosphere. This layer is almost 64 to 100 kilometers thick. So the thickness of the lithosphere is not same everywhere. The identical features, physical features, are different in both interior and exterior of the earth. It is mostly made up of substance like rock and soil. Now, various landforms of lithosphere like mountains, plateaus, plains and valleys are seen almost everywhere. Temperature increases as we move towards the interior part of the earth. towards the center part of the earth. And the molten rocks in the interior of the earth are known as magma. There are many gases also present in the interior of the earth which rise up with pressure and heat, but the pressure of the rocks of the surface of the earth is equally strong. So many a times the pressure get imbalanced, and so we face problems like earthquake and various other natural disasters are caused because of this imbalance. So the balance is appropriate, then everything goes well. So earth is sustained out of this balance. Now apart from this, if you see the uses of lithosphere, what are the main uses that we could state out of this particular sphere is lithosphere serves as a source of minerals. The minerals supply the basic materials required for making a variety of commodities which man uses daily. The lithosphere is also the major source of fuels such as coal, petroleum and natural gas. Without these fuels, human life as we know it today would have been impossible. It provides nutrients to the plants. The plants are the source of food for man and all the other animals. So we saw lithosphere being so useful, as well as we also saw some of its important features as to what lithosphere is. In the next session, we will be looking into various other topics of the chapter. I am sure you had great time learning new concepts, new activities, new content related to the chapter, and I am sure you're going to have good revision of it at home and write down important points and be ready for the next session.